What's up? This is Hyperspace with Ace, presented by Bright Future Media. By definition, hyperspace is something with more than 3 dimensions. This is a time and place where multidimensional folks come to share the vision. All right, it's episode number 3, Hyperspace with Ace. This is a lot of firsts for me, and I'm super excited. I want to introduce my guest today. Obviously, we're at Bright Future Media, powered by the one and only Stevie Bug. My first guest is Miss SANJA GANJA herself.
Hello, humans.
And my guest B, because it's not 1 or 2, they are partners in crime in my vision, is Miss Krysta Jones. The first women on my podcast, 3rd episode, and there's 3 of us. I think that's pretty dope.
We're coming in strong.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Numerology, 3 is like communication and creativity, and I think those fit you guys really well. Like, I think you two have such a good balance. Like, you're such a personality, you know what I mean? And you're such a businesswoman. Like, together, you guys are like a force to be reckoned with, and I'm super grateful that you guys are here with me. Appreciate it because the way that you meet people in our lives, like, I didn't take in either of our relationships very seriously when we first met. Like, we're in the networking business. It's very common to just go by people and be like, hey, yeah, they do this, they do that, they're pretty cool, whatever. But I'll say the first time that I met Sanja, we got into a car with my best friend Bugs, and we decided to roll up. We were outside Cold Crush, long live, and we were just having crazy conversations. Like, I'm not even going to speak on the topics because we're not even those people anymore.
I know, it's crazy.
But the topics were amazing. The vibe, I was like, okay, maybe I do like this girl. Maybe she is kind of cool, like I'm very standoffish sometimes or very guarded, and you're so like, hey, you're my best friend. We're going to hug and I love you and I heard about you and now I want to meet you and now you met me and now we're best friends. And it's a lot for some people and they don't always get it. And Krysta, you're kind of the opposite. You know what I mean? You're very like, if you speak to me, I speak back. And that's kind of the way that I am on. But you've been a very like, I'll introduce myself on a business tip. If you want to be business, I have a lot to say to you. But besides that, it's very like cut and dry. You know what I mean? Because it's like you're not the type of person to waste your time. And I want to thank you because you've given me a lot of guidance within this last year, a lot of opportunities. Like the THC Girl app is phenomenal. Like
1,415 right now.
Yeah. And see, when did we start? When did you start this? When did it begin?
Really, we've been going through the product development stage almost a
just
full
the app
year.
alone.
Yeah.
Just the app alone. Because THC Girls was established when?
2014.
Which is the High Country Girls, right? Yep. So, like I was just saying off camera, like, it's a common misconception that Colorado is mad country. Like, we have nothing but mountains and there's no city life, there's no music life, and it's like completely the opposite to me because of the circle that we run in, Yeah, so
it is.
Like, it's amazing to me, and I want to know between both you guys, who you guys like really got like inspired by, like who taught you to keep going, who kept you like motivated, I guess, if it's not the same person.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think?
Well, first and foremost, each other.
When did you meet?
We actually met about 1.5 years after you started THC Girls.
So not too far.
Yeah, so not too far after. She was doing her thing all over Denver.
All over. I remember. I was at bars bartending, and she was at every bar, every event I was at.
Exactly.
THC Girls was hosting at least one night a weekend.
Exactly. And so, like, parallel to that, I was doing the same with, the Vibe and MMJ Showcase.
Yeah, the Vibe.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I was working really closely with, like, Dwayne from Touch Your Lounge, Dante, that guy, who I still love very much.
Yeah.
And we were doing a lot of stuff for the music community while I was also running dispensaries. So, and
that's another side of you guys.
Exactly.
The cannabis culture is very huge. Obviously, THC Girls, the High Country Girls, goes into THC cannabis.
Exactly. And so we were able to like build from her being in the cultivation, being in the nightlife, and me being in the nightlife, but in the retail, we were like, how can we really take our vision, like we do here, and enable that and make it bigger? And we did. We have built an empire.
Literally, an empire for not just you, but for other people. And that's like one of the most key things I think is amazing, that not just for myself, but I can only speak for myself. They put money in my pocket. You know what I mean? They put models in my photo shoots. just by the connections that I've had off the app, before the app, it was groups on Facebook. It was, you know what I mean, meetups that we had, events that we did. And I thought it was so cool because like I said, so most of the time I'm that standoff person. So when we go into these events, they're more of a SANJA GANJA type of girls. Hey, we're family. We're THC girls. This is all of us. And we love you. You know what I mean? No matter what. No matter what you do, no matter who you are, we love you. I don't care who you like. I don't care who you don't like. It's not like that there. You know what I mean? There's probably plenty of people who I don't even know. There's girls in New York that I've never met that if I went to New York, they'd probably let me stay at their crib because I'm on the THC Girl app. And that holds weight. Like, I don't think people kind of understand. So I want to know who inspired you and who's held you down besides Sanja, because she named you. So you got to pick another one.
No,
you can't have the same answers.
I appreciate you. I mean, of course, Sanja and the push that she gives me, but really just, I think the motivation comes from the lack of representation in the industry and the lack of respect in certain aspects for a lot of things that we stand for and that we do. And it just continues to make it a bigger and bigger push every time that there's a bigger obstacle. It's very, it motivates you in a different way. And I think,
not a lot of people see it that way. They either see it as a motivation or an obstacle. Instead of seeing it as an obstacle, you guys see it as a learning course. Like, all right, we have this that we have to figure out, but we figure it out. Instead of being like, this is why we stopped.
Exactly. Like every single formula, every single strategic move that we have created, our entire operations is built on past failures, past lessons, and that has enabled us to be as smart as we are and as knowledgeable as we are. But we're always learning, and that is the number
one thing. The balance, the growth is always going, for sure. So like with that, when did you guys realize, like each of you, when did you realize like the 9 to 5 being in a dispensary, being behind the desk wasn't for you? Like, I know some of us, realize that sooner than others. I was probably like in my early 20s because my sister was a DJ Corona, I was in raves. I was being a what do they call it, a roadie, like holding all her stuff all the time, like that's how I got into bottle service, being with her. I realized that I don't want to work at freaking Foot Locker like I was all day, like where were you working and what like was the time you're like, all right, I got to do this shit for myself?
I'm a weird human being, so I've known since I was like 5 years old, look, I either need to be famous or I need to like become a golden girl or something.
I think you'd definitely be a golden girl.
I knew. Like, I don't do well with authority. Everybody knows that. So, I've always had that leadership position, management position, but even then I always get stagnant. And being a creative, guru that people like myself are, you have to constantly be moving at all times. So I knew right away at 5 years old that I needed to build something on my own and stand on my own 2 feet. And so when I met Krysta, she had the same exact motivation, and we said, well, let's not go against each other. Let's do this together. And that's exactly what we've been able to do.
What about you, Krysta? Where were you? What job were you doing? Like, how did you escape from the 9 to 5, the desk jobs and the boring shit?
I worked at Journeys, too.
I just worked at all the sneakers places because I like shoes. I wanted the discount. It wasn't too bad.
That's this one.
That's how I felt.
Yeah.
And it was great for networking.
Yeah, most people who come and drop a bag on shoes are artists, not from the city you're in, or they're some type of business. Because, shoes are pretty expensive nowadays.
Smart to network.
Yeah, I kept a lot of my connections from being a sneakerologist. I used now. Like, I'd be like, hey, y'all, I have an event. Like, come to my event.
Right.
Because there's a couple times I've seen your business as THC girls go through fluctuations, just within, like, the members, just within the locations that you guys have been. Like, where all have you guys been?
So, really, I think the point in time that I really took the initiative to say, really, I'm never going to have, I take opportunities, whether they're project to project basis, whether it's technically a 9 to 5 or what. That's, it's not a situation anymore, But the turning point where I was like, I'm good and I will not depend on another job was 2019. We established a huge, multi-million-dollar business together where I directed the cultivation. Sanja came in as the director of marketing. And I saw the things that
That's when you guys
do.
really broke into the business side of cannabis, right?
Kind of like the Suits on Wall Street, like we like.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that because you guys were going to these meetings high as fuck, but in suits. You guys were, like,
Still had
documenting-
my Chucks on.
Yeah, you guys were documenting a lot of what you were doing. I remember that time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say that would probably be my turning point when I, you know, it's not to say that that was the only situation, but that was a big situation where I'm like, damn, you know, we could do these multi-million-dollar projects ourselves. We don't really
And
need
get the money
anybody.
ourselves.
Yeah, and we're very high value. You know
And
what I mean?
that is the same thing that happened with my show too. Like, although I did start my show
The
before
Sanja Ganja show, by the way.
right, the Sanja Ganja show. You know, although I did start it before I met her, you know, I had
You
to
were
take a
already in
break.
motion.
You know, I was in motion and it was wild, but I knew there was more than just interviewing locally. Although I love my people.
Your show took a good transition too. I was doing my homework, obviously, you know, watching the Sanja Ganja shows.
Meow, meow.
And just like from the things you were doing on your own, you could tell the transition in yourself and the transition in your life because your content changed. The quality of your
100%.
content changed. The quality of you were giving the people, you know what I mean? Like you could just see it. You're a personality. 3 things that I wrote down about you for your Hyperspace. I like to give everybody their dues is obviously your wife, which in that you are a mother as well.
100%.
And then you're like a personality. Like I put a host personality because there's not a lot of people who are that naturally. Like you said, since 5 years old, you knew what you wanted to do. It makes sense. Like that makes sense to me now. I never knew that. But like it really makes sense to me because when I first would see you, you're doing all these good things and hosting on stage with my other friends and my other people who have big personalities, but you're outshining them. Not necessarily outshining, but overtaking the stage power, you know, stage presence.
Some presence, yeah.
Stage presence is very big and crowd control.
Yep.
People will be on the same stage as her but not have the same like
Authority.
Interaction with the people. You know what I mean? People will not get into it as much as they will when Sanja Ganja's on the stage because she demands that from the people. Like I've seen it so many times.
Man, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and it's a light. It's really a light. Like you guys are both one of those type of people I say that are light workers and also healers because being a mother, being a wife, you know, having a spouse, and that is just part of our hyperspace. Krysta, I wrote down, obviously a cultivator, cannabis connoisseur, and a business owner because those go in so many directions and they kind of all flow together. You know what I mean? Obviously, you guys are both business owners and cannabis connoisseurs, but it's just in those, they have their own like tree branches.
We flow well together. We're like the yin and the yang, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of wild because obviously
It's
I've
hard to
changed
find.
a lot, you know, going
It's hard
from,
to find somebody who can grow with you.
Exactly, and that's what we've been able to do. You know, like I've been able to change from having multiple females at one time to having a wife and set, and my, you know, it's PG-13 on my IG now.
Yeah.
You know, besides
Big
the
facts.
cannabis. But you know, so I've had to also go through that change, but she's gone through that change with me.
She went through the same thing. I've seen her
Exactly,
go
and
through-
we've been able to elevate, and we've also matured within THC Girls.
Yes,
which
the
was a
content that you
big
guys were
deal.
allowing. I've seen girls not say get booted, but get reprimanded or told your content is a little bit too risque for the business clientele that we, in a very business manner, mind you, that we're looking for. This is a business. We're not out
Has to
here
have purpose.
only fans. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we're pretty girls who smoke weed, but we also do business.
Right.
We're pretty girls who smoke weed and take care of our families. We're pretty girls who smoke weed throughout our hyperspace.
We have a job to do. It's a, you know, with us being OGs in the game like we are, we have the stigma, you know, a responsibility to
had,
end the
like,
stigma.
medical badges and keys before it was cool, before it
Way
was like
before.
a couple $100s. It was a thing back in the day to have to try to even get your med card. Like,
It was a Wild Wild West back then.
yeah,
It was very different.
and it was very strict. There was a lot of rules. You couldn't have this, you couldn't have that. Now they're just like, you can go get a med card for $80.
Yeah.
Like, you can go get your badge for like $400.
We've grown up with cannabis the same way cannabis has matured with the law. You know,
yeah, because out here it's been
we're
a
young.
lot. It's been a lot of changes and like
14
even
years.
yeah, and it's crazy
Exactly.
because that you think in those time all the things that you've done, you're like, wow, I really did all that. Like, how many dispensaries do you think you worked at just in Denver?
Shit.
Well, I can tell you that we've definitely built over 100 brands. We've worked with multiple multi-million-dollar companies.
Those numbers.
You know, we've definitely worked with over 10 dispensaries here specifically, you know, because we were very loyal when working here. But what we did do is collectively work together here in Colorado. And we still work with them. We still have relationships with
Yeah,
them.
of course, because they still come support your events.
Exactly.
The owners of those dispensaries take their time out to come to your spot and be like, hey, I know this is your event, but I wanted to bring you something. You know what I mean? What can I help you with? And that's like amazing to me because a lot of cannabis, like the med store owners, they don't be dealing with stuff like that. They're like, we don't have
Exactly.
We don't need to. We sell out. We this, we that. They think they're too good for certain things. Because trust me, on my own, I've tried to get dispensaries. Hey, come sign up patients at this event. You don't got to bring no cannabis. You don't got to bring no product. Just come tell them about your dip. And they don't need it. Yeah. So they don't want to. But if I say, hey, I have an event with the THC girls and we're going to be in Denver this date, woo-de-woo, I want you to come promote your business. Oh, I've been trying to get in with the THC girls for how many years? And woo-de-woo-de-woo, like, oh, I bet.
And now it's so easy. And now we have so many assets, you know, like you get on our app, we have a community. Now, if you work with us and you actually sign up for one of our services, you actually get sponsorship through the SANJA GANJA show. The SANJA GANJA show has so much more in store. So, I mean, the main thing right now is just building our community as much as possible because, I mean, we might look a little tough. I might be a little goofy, but our biggest thing is helping people. That really is like our number one
and
thing.
I can attest to that because, like I said, you guys have put me in a position where you put money in my pocket, put me in connection with women that want to model for me, like for my clothing line. You know, that the girl today, the slay of the day, was Kai's Creations. She's a THC girl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's one of those women that does multiple things, not just makeup. She does hair, she does clothing, you know, she does custom everything. So it's like those are hard people to find to keep in your pocket, to keep dealing with you, you know, because they be booked and busy, first of all. Out here, it's hard to find a good person that you trust to be on your face or be in your head. Like, that's sacred to me. Like, people on my face, people on my head. It's not the easiest to pick somebody.
No,
I'm picking.
And when you cut your hair off, bro, y'all got to cut it and to let somebody take away your power and what comes with that. Those memories, you know what I mean?
We are still getting over it. She ain't over it either.
And when you have people around you like that, they get attached to your things. Like, they're probably more attached to your daughter sometimes than you are.
That's probably why I had to do it, though. I really needed to let go of that baggage. A lot of people...
You've gone through a lot.
A lot of people really think that I'm just like this character, which is wonderful. I want that because if that's what gets your attention, great. Now my job is to change your perception.
Right.
Change your perspective.
Once you see me, then you're going to hear me.
I got a lot going on up here, and I do a lot behind the scenes, you know, and a lot of people don't know that. So I like to be low key with it, you know. But
and I never knew that either. That's
crazy.
what I'm saying, because like I've always been a behind the scenes person. I never wanted to be in front. Like I said, without Bugs, I wouldn't be doing this because he hit me like, yo, I think you should do a podcast.
You were so quiet all the times that I have met you.
Because it's not that I don't have anything to say. I'm just observing. Right. And when I have it to say, I'm going to tell you. If I feel comfortable enough to tell you, you're going to hear it. But for the most part, I tell them, hey, best friend, you want to go somewhere with me and sit in the corner and judge people? I'm not like judging like in a rude way, but it's like,
can we people watch?
Yeah, that's what it's called, right? People watching. Can we
people watch? Is not bad. You can make it positive.
I get a lot of inspiration from people watching and low interaction. I'm a low interaction person when I go out because too much interaction, I'm finna slide. Parking's too much, I'm finna slide. Yeah. But at the end of the day, those interactions give me life, you know, give us like, I don't want to do that again, or I really want to do that again.
Yeah.
You know, like when we went to Jad's recently and we just pulled out the sewing machine. You gave me a couple pieces, made you a mask. And then from there, the people at Jad's were like, we need this here. We need live artists. We need this. And I would have never went all the way out of my way up north. I live down here, you know what I mean? So it's like one of those things, again, because I went out of my comfort zone with you guys, for you guys, because I would have never went just to go. I go to Tetra, you know.
Which I hope we can make you feel more comfortable to go there, not only pull you out of your comfort zone, but enable you to feel more comfortable to be there.
Yeah, because it opens those doors. Yeah, and then you guys had a work day there. Being able to be around like-minded people when you're stuck is just like a blessing to be like, hey, look, I think I'm done with this, but can you look at this?
Can you look?
Because me sending you a link is cool, but I don't know when you're going to have time because you're in Florida, you're in Oregon, you're in here, you're there, when you're going to have time to sit down and critique it. And when you sit down and critique it in front of me, I could tell you my concept. It's more alive, you know, that interaction. And it's so helpful, I think, to an artist and a business person more than a back and forth correspondent.
I can tell you right now, because we've lived together, lived in multiple states together.
You guys have done traveling now, like real life.
We're apart, but we still Zoom and talk every day. But
wake up like, hey.
I'll tell you, when we are physically together, we will get so much more work done. I mean, it's just, and then it's obviously like almost, we're hyping each other up.
Yeah, and it's almost on accident. Like, oh, that is a good idea. Let's put this down and let's start. Boom, boom, boom. It's a whole new concept. You know what I mean? Yep. I've seen you guys bounce ideas off of people, or off of each other, and off of other people. You guys just have such a dynamic that it's like, it's raw. You know, I don't know how else to explain it. Because there's nobody I've personally found that I can do that with, that it just goes back and forth.
And I hope
you know?
we can be role models because, you know, there should be more duos out there, male, female, 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 male, male, whatever. But, you know, specifically in cannabis, you do see a lot of like rivalries and you do see a lot of, you know, fake
also in
support.
Promotion, so also in modeling, also in fashion, also in music. There's even beef for female rappers out there. Like, there's enough money out there. We're printing money every single day. It means nothing. The result means nothing. It's the lesson that we're getting there and what I learned and how I got there and who I met on the way, who helped me, who didn't help me. It opens my eyes. You know, like this last year has been so much growth and so much learning for me that I just see it all for what it is. You know what I mean? And know that nothing really matters, but what I'm learning in the process.
You know? Makes sense. Just be authentic, be consistent.
Yeah.
You know, and then
looking at it in a light instead of in a dark, you know, half full glass versus a half empty glass. I think a lot of people are so focused on, well, their glass is fuller than mine instead of focused on what's in front of you.
There's a lot of that because, you know, the world today, look at social media. It's like a lottery. Every single day you're looking at them slots on TikTok.
It's a pick-me.
You know? So
like,
every day you wake up and you're like, oh, how many people like my photo? Well, stop doing that. You know, worry about your own and get yours. Turn on your beast mode, as we like to say, hoorah, and wake up. Do your thing. Because really, if you keep worrying about other people, you aren't going to be right here. Look what you're doing right now. This is amazing. This is amazing. Are you kidding me? For real. You know what I mean? Like, this is beautiful.
And it's crazy because I never, like I told y'all when I joined, like, I don't necessarily want to be a model, but I want to be involved. And you're like, we have plenty of places, plenty of things for you.
Come on.
Yeah, for the past however many years, you know what I mean, that I've been in touch with Krysta closely, like, it's been like, well, we have no reason. You don't have to be a model. You don't have to do this. But then when I got on there and I'm like, okay, you're right. You know, I could utilize it for what it is. And it's a network, a real life like feed into the world, into places that I would have never went. Like there's that just because off the strength of that connection, you know, like the connection I had with Bugs got me closer with you. I would never, I think we were in my car or in Bugs' car.
I think it was your car.
But either way, I would never get to the point where I feel like that I just won't speak. You know what I mean? I just,
But you know what? That's a lot of growth I've had to do in myself too, because sometimes I was a little too much at times. You know, like Bugs has had to tell me on the mic, "Yo, calm down." You know, like there are times.
But that's your passion. That's
your
your personality coming through, and that's why I said a lot of people don't understand it for what it is at first, because it comes off so like.
True.
You know what I mean?
It is true.
But it's an acquired taste, and when the people who get to that acquired taste, for each person, they get to the gems. You know what I mean? They get to the game, because it's like probably paid for in other ways, however that may be. But it feels genuine. It feels love, and it feels light. You know, I want to know too, like, what's the next immediate thing? Because I know recently that you guys shot the video for the THC Girls National Anthem. So what else besides that are y'all coming up with?
Shoot, we
so
got
much.
Yeah, we have a lot.
Immediately next.
So the music video, the official music video, will be dropping. Shout out.
Do we have a
SANJA
date?
It will be more towards the end of the year. Right now, you know, being that it's really to show the story of how we do things. So we're really
because you use a lot of different places, right?
Yeah,
you've done a bunch of different shots, different cities,
traveling, getting
different girls,
artists, and different girls aligned. So having Sanja available,
so, which is a lot. You know what I mean with life to make ourselves available. That's why I'm so appreciative of you guys, of Bugs, of Kai Creations, to just make time for me to make this happen for me. You guys went out of your way for me. This doesn't necessarily do anything for you. I'm asking you to come on my platform. You know what I mean? Resources that we have it's not just here for nothing. You know, like I said, without him, there would be no Hyperspace with Ace. Like,
for real.
And I'm so grateful, and all the people that just make it happen is just key.
I think that's really our next move, is to really go hard for those people that have gone hard for us, and really take it to the next level. Because
they do. There's a lot of girls out here that I see walking around, and they're like THC Girls shirts or THC Girls hats, like randomly, and I know I've never seen them before, but it's kind of dope, because then you kind of like see them and you peep them. You peep the shirt, they peep the shirt, but you're not really saying too much.
Yeah, the love is real.
I see you. The love is real, and it do.
No, it is beautiful. I mean, with everything we're dropping, we're really focused hard on the media, because right now it's all about telling our story, like she said. So you know, you're going to be seeing some
both separately and together, right?
Separately together, all the
everything.
above. You know, of course, everything. If you ever see us do anything separately, we'll always be shouting each other out, of course.
Yeah.
But you know, and the
That's
SANJA
why when you
GANJA
asked
show,
me, you were like, "You want me and Krysta?" Like, duh.
like, of course we're coming.
First of all, she's in town, which is rare.
Right.
We would probably have to do like a televideo or something. I would have had to go out to Miami, right? And then I would have had to go out to Miami and bring Bugs with me because I can't do it by myself. So
Which we know
I'm
you
down.
will.
Yeah, and
we know you're down.
we love Florida, so we'll be back
Next
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
So
we'll
we
be
definitely
back.
we have a lot of big moves, you know. Like I'm wrapping up season 4. Shout out to OG
Season
THC.
4?
That's right, of SANJA GANJA show. Of course, you know the
erase music.
archive. I'm shadow banned. It's highly censored to a T.
You were doing too much.
Unbelievable. Between conspiracies, weed, and women, it was just too much. So, you know, they cut me out.
That's
so
the growth. That's the growth.
That's the
though.
growth. So that's
now,
why what you
your
see now.
content can be played for multi-million-dollar companies.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Stay high, America. What, like?
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like
Let's
that is
hotbox
so.
the White House. You know, I'm really on a mission. That is the move. That's, you know, shout out to July and Bugs for my song, Leona. You know, because straight up, you know, we're on a mission. THC Girls, SANJA GANJA, Krysta Jones. That is the goal. Is we're trying to get everybody under the plant, you know, agenda. You got to live under the green,
Right.
you know, to survive. So the move is to wrap up season 4, you know, with my new filmographers, and then basically from there do season 5 at the new year. You know, we're doing dispensary tours with the THC Girls with Krysta. We've got a lot of dispensaries, so you guys are definitely.
Are you doing
gonna
them
wanna hear
just in
that.
Denver, or are you doing them everywhere?
We're gonna be right now in this season. We're in Denver, but
Okay.
we will be heading out elsewhere.
Let me not ask no spoilers.
I know. We've got some more.
I'm nosy, so I probably
We got some
would.
more states coming up soon, so we won't drop those. But we do have some more states coming out in the next few months. You'll be seeing us in a few more states. So I'll give you some hints. There's some bright lights.
And that stuff is so exciting to me because, like I said, these businesses and stuff, they're not always open. They're not open-armed businesses. It's not that easy to get in. And when you're in, you're in. Like,
For real.
for the most part, you know what I mean? Unless you're like on the outs because you're in and they don't really like you. Like the shade.
You're someone's
But-
cousin.
Yeah, or something like that, you know. But for the most part, if you're in, you're in. And it's amazing to see like the transition and stuff because you guys went from doing that all the time to now like they love when you're in town because they want to give you the treatment. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, oh, Krysta and Sandra here. Let's give them a tour. Let's make sure that they have everything that they need. They're going to have, how many people are they going to bring?
Right.
See if they can bring more. You know what I mean? Like, those tours are usually closed, very private, no cameras, and for them to let you come through and just kind of like do the Sanja thing.
It's a wild contrast because I can tell you back in 2008, MTV approached me at a dispensary that no longer exists and, you know, asked, hey, you know, you're a weird personality. What is going on with your head? Because my
Yeah,
dreads were like
dreads.
this big. And, you know, and they're like, we want to follow you around. And ironically enough, Krysta was working in the grow as I was working in the retail, but we could never see each other.
We didn't know each other then.
We didn't know each other, though. So we were destined to meet
Yeah,
at some point.
see how the universe
It was
works
wild.
out. It's crazy.
You know, so it is ironic now that these people will fly us out, come out there, you know, film, do their marketing, do their whole deal.
And ask you,
And
pay
ask
you.
us, pay us, you know. So it is a beautiful thing, you know, but it's a lot of work, you know. So
People don't believe that being an entrepreneur is like 3 times as much work as being at a 9 to 5. You get to clock out at a 9 to 5.
you don't ever clock
Your
out.
mind never stops. Like, it's always those little voices going in your head, like, oh, you could fix this, or you could do that, or this could do this. What about this building? What about that one? You know what I mean? Like, I remember like a couple years ago going with Bugs, driving around trying to find a place for Bright Future Media before it was Bright Future Media, because he's like, I'm opening my own studio. Fuck that. I'm doing it. I can do it.
Yep.
I'm lit. He's him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
the connections that he has on his own is just great. You know, it's a blessing to be in the circle of that, you know, at the table
It is.
of that. So I'm just super grateful, and I'm thankful that you guys came to spend time with me,
Love
came
it.
to give me some gems.
been great.
Is there anything else you want my people to know? Obviously, the
Yes.
highly connected app.
Yes.
We want everybody to download. I'm going to post my link because I want to get paid off of y'all.
Yep.
So I'm going to
That's
post
how we
my
work.
link.
Refer
And that's
nerd, baby.
exactly
Work.
what they tell you to do. They don't say post my link so Krysta gets paid. Paste Sanja's link so she gets paid. They say post your link so you get paid, so we will. What about SANJA GANJA? When's the next episode of the SANJA GANJA show?
Woo! We've got an episode dropping in the middle of October, right before Halloween.
And where do
we're-
they watch it?
So you guys can watch it free on YouTube. You can also find me on High Times, where you can watch season 1 and you can check out some of that shenanigans. Otherwise, you can also get notifications on the app for every new episode. So make sure you guys get on there too. All right. I'm SANJA GANJA, and I'm in Hyperspace with Ace, baby.
What's up? This is Krysta Jones, and I'm in Hyperspace with Ace.
Hey. And then shout out to the sponsors, Bright Future Media for getting us everything we need, visuals, sound, the connections I have here, obviously. The slay of the day was Kai's Creations.
Hey.
The concept, the curation is Ace Limited.